Hello, I'm Andrew from Hydroxy Garage, and I'm going to make a video today about the Volo FS2 circuit. Do you want to save fuel? This little gadget plugs into your OBO2 port, 16 pin, under your driver's seat. Even grandma can plug it in. I mean, it doesn't take much. $120, all soldered up, live cable. And the Volo, we've been selling these for 15 years. Making a video today to show you. It's not a gimmick. It works. No one sends them back. I give you a 1 year warranty. If it doesn't work, send it back. And the only trouble we have sometimes is that some people have to push the reset button again. There's a hole right here, and you put a toothpick or a paper clip to change, and it pushes the little button on the PC board inside. And what you do is you just, when you get it, now I'll sell for $100. It comes like this one, and you got to solder 4 wires right here. And I have instructions. Here, I'll show you the instructions next. It's not a gimmick. It works. No one sends them back. I give you a 1 year warranty. If it doesn't work, send it back. And solder 4 wires right here. And I have instructions. Here, I'll show you the instructions next. How you hook it up, and it's 4 wires. It comes like this, and then your OBO2 16 pin port. And this is every car since 1996 on. Won't work on anything older than that. It's for OBO2, they called it. And this is legal because we're not flashing the ROM. We're only reading your ECM, what's on there, and it tells you, it just reads as you're driving, it reads the ROM side of the chip, and then it flashes its own chip inside when it hits a threshold. There's a bunch of different protocols. Most of them are CAN protocols called today, where one wire is in and out, and there's 2 wires. Like there's positive, negative, but you solder in, and there's this green and a white wire which goes to the CAN in and out to your computer and back. And this is legal because we're not flashing the ROM. We're only reading your ECM, what's on there, and it tells you, it just reads as you're driving, it reads the ROM side of the chip, and then it flashes its own chip inside when it hits a threshold. So what this is doing is leaning out some fuel trims, and that's how it's saving you fuel. And he worked with a race car driver to lean out a few fuel trims when you floor it on the freeway. That's how you, when you first hook it up, once you've got it soldered, or I send it to you soldered, $120. Asian car, this will save you 10% approximately. On an American car like GM, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, you'll save probably up to 25%. I think the maximum is 30. People have claimed. And if it doesn't work, you just push the reset button again. And what you do is you just plug it in, turn the car on, and it starts flashing for 3 minutes. It starts calibrating, reading your computer, flashing, and then if it's done communicating, it takes like 3 minutes of a light show. All these lights are flashing, and 2 green solid lights means it communicated and it's going to work. And some people right off the bat get gains right off the bat. And every once in a while, it's a stubborn ECM, and you have to push the reset button again to override it. It just takes some time. Sometimes you have to push. I had a BMW Z3 years ago. And it took me 3 times, and finally it got to the point where it would save me gains on the gas. Plus I had a B3 cell. See, I've been selling these hydrogen cells for 19 years, and I'm selling the business now because my sales are so slow. I sold to the middle class people, and middle class people only have money for food and rent now. So all this saving gas stuff, it doesn't happen like it used to. And I never did. I was sold it under the radar all these years. I met a Bob Boyce, a Department of Defense scientist, who were licensed to sell his 1981 gag ordered patent. Also, this Volo sells a VP16, comes in a box here. What it is, it's a touchscreen screen. I got one on my car. This one out of the Volo. My Volvo I have. See, this is how I set it up. You push, that's a touch screen. You can go all over the place. So I got on econo mode, and then I have it on miles per gallon as you're driving, and then engine temp, coolant temp, horsepower, and torque. So when I'm driving my HHO, I add HHO gas as I'm driving, which is Bob's gas, which is negative H, negative O. It's hydroxy gas. It's different than regular HHO common hydrogen doesn't work. It does blow up and stuff, but this gas is way better. It's 4 times more powerful. I'm not making this up either. I'm not a scientist. I'm a graphic artist from years back, and the Lord told me to do this business 19 years ago, so I'm just doing what He's telling me. If everybody did what God told them to do, the life would be wonderful. But a lot of us are doing work we're not supposed to be doing. Anyway, so what you do is you touch the arrow here, and you can change the screens. Like, it has a menu, so like it has, you can do engine codes right here. It does all kinds of things. You can make gauges. It has a PWM circuit where you can add the PWM that follows the RPM. I tried doing that for a while, but I recommend just going with our control that we have. You can do it if you want to. It sets it at 120 hertz. I can't change it. We use 3, the 6, and 9. We use 300 hertz on Bob's setup, and so I just leave mine. I leave it at the gauges, but see, I hook gauges, and I can put. I can make it look like that with RPM if you just want to see what your RPM is, or you hit the arrow, go back. Econo mode, econo graph. You can do it on that. You can leave that on there. Many different things. You can sit here and play all day long with this thing. I have it on Eco Boost, and then I use the 4 gauge. I push 4, and then I just stay on that. And I kind of watch the miles per gallon because I have a little controller on the dash, and I turn the little knob for amps, and the amps go up and down. And when you feel the horsepower, we call it a sweet spot. That's where you want to be. We run way less amps than everybody else. I'll explain that in another video, but for now I'm just focusing on the Volo circuit. Oh, and the Volo also 16. It's called Volo 16 touchscreen, and it comes with a OBO2 port plug-in. It plugs in the back. It's got a bunch of plugs on the back. It's got a reset button. I'm plugged into USB to give it 5 volts to light the display up. And it comes with this gadget where you can hook it onto the windshield, but I don't recommend this because the car it's okay if you're on a road trip and it's in the windshield and you can see it, but take it out when you get out of the car because it's got a magnet on it too, so it helps. It can heat up, and this screen gets too hot. It gets it hard to do the touch screen. So what I do, I put it on my console inside of my car, and so it just sits there. Mine's kind of protected, and it says the miles per gallon, but I just put it over the right side, and I just leave it there, and it's not in the sun. See, when you hook this up in the window, it's okay for a road trip, but when you leave it like that all the time, it's going to get so hot in the car that the sun will hit it, and this window might melt. And I've had this thing for 5 years, and it's still working. Volo's 15 years; they just keep going. Now lately we switched to FS2 where it programs itself. Before, in the old days, we had to program them back in 2008 and 9. And I'd like to tell you a story of Dan, the owner. He started as a genius guy, a script writer. He wrote this all from scratch, and it's really a shame he's not with us anymore. I think it was like 2024. He took a 2 jabs on a Friday, and then next Monday he found him dead on the floor with a mid-brain aneurysm. He's only 34 years old, just moved to Las Vegas. So sad. He had a 7-year-old daughter and a wife, and so they had to take the business down. So if you go to voloperformance.com, which is Dan's business, it's down now, and Kevin runs it, but he'll keep making these. So more people could make them. He makes them. I buy them wholesale and I sell them. So every single kit we sell of the HHO stuff here, we sell a Volo. So you can see the Volo right there. It comes with a kit because you got to tell the engine because we're completing the burn with the HHO. We're adding hydroxy gas, which is negative H, negative O. Here's what I have in my Volvo. It's a 2.5 liter all-wheel drive Volvo XC90 2003. So this is our latest cell. We have made so many cells. I'll Jerome we made so many different kinds of cells, but the same basic design. It's a Bob's Boys 7 plate. If they look like this, they're all copying Bob's patent. And he started a forum back in 2008, and it had 10,000 people, and it lasted till 2020 when Yahoo Groups turned it off. Why is that? He's teaching everybody how to run water. This is a booster. This should be added on every single car. Now, what are these things on the side? People go, what are those carom things? Well, one's an inductor. One's inducting non-Hertz energy from space, and then another one's a RF choke. It stops the pulsing. And it's a 7-plate cell with neutral plates. I'll explain that in another video. It gets in deep. The science of water goes really deep. And this ain't me. This is Department of Defense science. White hat guy Bob. He's really cool, and everything's classified. You can't talk about a lot of this stuff. And so I'm just selling on the radar all this time, 19 years. So it's Hydrogen Garage, Hydrogen Trucker, and it's for sale too. That's why I'm making these videos. So I'll make some more, but today I'm just trying to say you can save gas just with a Volo circuit. And it should be a household name because there's so many gimmicky things you plug in your OBO2 port. Like one just looks like this. It doesn't do anything. And they sold it like 5 times. And ripped everybody off, and then they started another name, different colored plastic, and one guy took it apart, and he had 3 of them, and he goes, look, it's the same board inside, and it didn't do anything. And then another one of the spark looked like a blue spark plug. That doesn't work either. This has track record, and I don't send them back anymore. I'm just not selling enough of them. No one knows about it, so that's why I'm making this video today. Maybe someone will read it and give it a try and help support Hydroxy gas, Hydrogen Garage, water, the free fuel. Hallelujah. Water is life. Waters are 75% of our body is water-based. So cells are made from water. The planet has 75% water on it. It's the cheapest, safest, cleanest gas on the planet. How come you're not using it? That's what the Lord told me one time. He goes, when I first started this business, he told me to call it Hydrogen Garage. I wanted to call it water fuel cell or something else, and then something's more simple like water cells, water fuel. And I had Hydrogen Garage listed. He goes, no, call it Hydrogen Garage, Andy. He goes, when people think of hydrogen, they think of a bomb. We're going to change that to the cleanest, safest gas on the planet. And then the next night he goes, how come you're not using it? So this has been 19 years. I thought this business would go Richter, and it hasn't yet. Because, CARB doesn't approve it. It's against the law for a licensed mechanic to install one of these in the United States. But you can do it yourself due to the hot rodders. They have it where you can do anything you want in your own garage. I've asked hired patrolmen. They liked what I'm doing. I go, but until the captain tells us to look under the hood, you keep doing it, dude. Go for it. And it's you can't. No one's blowing up ever. See, we don't make a hydrogen bomb. Like they want to push compressed, high-pressured hydrogen, H2 bombs on board, up to 10,000 pounds of pressure. Bob just laughs. He goes, "You got the Department of Defense is in charge of U.S. highway safety. They'd outlaw those things immediately." So like BlackRock, Blackstone, they poured up billions into this hydrogen thing. They don't want me going to their hydrogen shows, because I'm hydroxy gas. Water's a free fuel made on demand as you drive. No dangerous bombs on board. I say stuff like that. They don't like that because it's going up against the grain. Anything BlackRock does, I don't trust any of that. It's all Rothschild money. So it's the feds. The feds need to be taken out, and the QFS gold-backed banking needs to take over. That's what I'm praying for. Or there's going to be a pole shift real soon. The Lord comes back. I don't know. Either two. Anyway, with Jesus, you win. So I just want to show my face today. And if I get taken out, I didn't kill myself. That's a sin. You shouldn't take your life out. You should keep going. If you get hurt, get back up and keep fighting. We're all soldiers, and I'm a soldier in Christ. I'm a warrior for Jesus, and this is what I have to mention His name so I can stay alive. And if any BlackRock wants to hire a hitman, they're going to have to meet Jesus before I do. That's all I could say. But anyway, God bless. Thank you, and have a great day. And Volo rocks. It's not bullshit. It works.